Ew.
Great as always. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. I'm not in Chicago anymore. We gotta change Chicago. Yeah, it's
That's
good to see you too. How's life?
good. I cannot complain. I'd like to hug people more than I do right now. Great as always. Good to see you.
Yeah, we got a weird echo going on.
Hang on. I am live. Sorry. I'm
You're all
trying
right.
to stream live for the first time and I don't know how I can do this
There we
without.
go. Union Station. Can you see me okay in this?
I can see you
Okay,
perfectly.
good. All right.
Yeah. Nice. I can't get a background with my computer. It's so
You
annoying.
can't.
No, it
Ah.
says your computer is not good enough for this.
And you're live streaming from it? Well, that'll be interesting.
Yes, that works, but I don't
Okay.
know how. So it is live streaming. I did pause it on the YouTube channel though, or else I keep hearing us. Like,
Yeah. So what? Yeah. So you're getting it's looping back. So you probably need to kill your audio or turn your speak. Oh, that might be kind of tough. Or put headphones on, something. I don't know.
yeah, I actually just paused it, but I think people can still see it. I think it's just paused for me.
Okay. I can
So
pull up.
if not, then it's the
Then
first
you
time
and
I'm.
I'll have a great chat. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So okay. Yeah, I can see it's live on YouTube. Nice. So there won't be anybody. I won't see anybody's faces, will I?
Yes, you
Oh,
will.
good. That's
Yes, yes.
much better when I can see.
I know. I basically I promote every attendee to a panelist.
Okay.
Just because yeah, we love seeing faces. So
Yeah, it's well, and when you do this, you react off voices. Wow, that's a wider picture than I usually get. So hang on just a moment here.
yeah,
That's good. Chime, we don't get the full widescreen effect. So can you hear me okay still?
I hear you perfectly. You've got a pretty
Okay,
good
good.
microphone going there, hey?
Yeah. This is a good one. I like it.
That
So
for I see those when I look into the windows when people are doing like computer games on
right,
Twitch or
yeah.
something.
Yeah. This would be like a good like vocal recording mic if you were singing or something like that. And so yeah, my background before I did computers, before I did theology, I did music, and
Yes, I
so
know.
heavy into oh, that's yeah, you've heard my story before. So
Yes.
yeah, you probably tell my story.
Well, before I started in GoTo, I was also heavy into music and acting.
Yeah, really? Are you a singer?
Yeah, I studied performing arts, so I've got that
Ah,
whole background of stage and film, and yeah,
wow, that's a tough industry.
it
I
is.
tell
That's
you.
why I now work for GoTo.
Yes. My son, who is very prolific drummer, guitar player, piano player, bass player, all those things, has just decided to go another route. And I can't fault him. You know what I mean? With music, it has to be absolutely all in 100% of the time. Nothing else comes before it, kind of
Yep,
lifestyle, and it
yep.
doesn't work. If you're not into it. So he's choosing to be a welder now.
A welder.
A welder, yes. Isn't that
Cool.
funny? Yeah. So
Cool.
he's good at it and he enjoys it. And he lives out in pretty agriculture area, so he's helping farms. He's welding for farms and different things like that. So
Cool.
he's going to school.
It's
So
something completely different, but hey, I mean,
yeah, exactly. I realized early on I still play, but not professionally, obviously. So
yeah, I'd like to be on stage more often, but I do my little
yeah,
videos for the conference and
yeah.
um, do whatever I can. Yeah, like open mics, and if there's a short movie, a short film, or a play, I'll if I have time, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a feeling my oldest daughter will be doing that. She's got a tremendous. Well, but they both have good voices. She's got a tremendous voice, and she's just loves the drama, the entire all there is about the flair for acting, and I'm just and just it's so funny. So and she's good at it.
I
So
yeah, I get it. Even like my musical taste is very drama, full of pathos. Like I do love
yeah, okay. Ooh, I like that word. That's good.
melodic metal. Like it's
Okay.
hard and heavy, but it's also
Yes,
beautiful
but
and melodic. And yeah, my Anna, she always says, "Oh God, you need pathos in your life." I'm like, yeah, totally.
that's a great word, though. Are you now to name a band if you were to?
So at the moment, I love. Oh God, there are so many. So I love Within Temptation. That's a female singer.
Okay,
It's
okay, I'm
amazing.
not. I'm
Ungra is one of my favorite bands. They're a Brazilian melodic metal band. The
okay.
former guitarist now plays for Megadeth.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Went to see
yeah.
Megadeth last year. No,
Wow,
this year. It was early
wow.
this year. Dream Theater. Yeah, that.
Dream Theater. Yeah. See, now you're hitting something.
No.
I think I don't know if I told you I took Noah for his birthday. I took him to see Def Leppard and Journey.
Journey.
Yeah.
That this
Oh my
little
god.
Filipino guy. His voice is out
Oh
of this
my
world.
gosh, he was, and you got to wonder because Steve Perry, those aren't easy shoes to fill,
No,
and
exactly.
he does, boy, he does. Now we went for the drummer. The
Yeah.
drummer is Steve Smith's one of the best drummers on the face of the planet,
Yep.
and he did not
Oh, Mike
disappoint.
Portnoy.
But I always liked a couple of Def Leppard songs. Never a huge fan.
Yeah.
Put on a great concert. I became a fan. It was like, this is awesome. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was, most people were my age, and then there's my son who's
But
just singing at the top of his
that
lungs.
is so I love that with like older bands. Like I went to see Iron Maiden or
Oh
Metallica or
yeah.
Megadeth or whatever. Like the audience is super mixed. So you've got
Yep. Yep.
people who are like 60, 70, and you've got everything trickling down to a 6-year-old with the headphones on.
Yeah, exactly. Well, in the '80s music, that's where he's at. He loves '80s music. Of course, he'll come. Dad, have you ever heard of Bon Jovi? Buddy, I was there.
Bon Jovi, wow, who's that?
Right in the middle of it when this is happening. Yeah. So yeah, it's really funny. So yeah, but he just big his Queen,
Yep.
Metallica,
Yep.
just you name it, that area. So hi Nico.
You may turn on your video if you wish. We love seeing faces. So as people are arriving, we had 2 people arrive before, but I wasn't ready yet. I had just turned it on, and
All right.
so they left. But I'm guessing they're coming back. They were like, "Oh my God, I'm too early."
No
So
problem.
Nico, if you want to say something, what's your favorite band, and have you been to a concert lately? Let's see. Maybe he's not even in front of his computer right now, since we're just blah.
Or we're rambling.
Yeah, my dad's an old rocker, so basically I grew up just listening to rock, and now I listen to rock and metal.
So when I was in high school, I was more of your Depeche Mode, In Excess, the mod, the at the time they were almost considered goth, but they weren't compared to what goth is now, But yeah, or at least where I grew up, but it was like, no, this not. But saw In Excess.
Oh my God! I was too young. I think he died when I was.
Yeah, he died quite a while ago.
Yeah.
They were a great band. They really were. I saw Depeche Mode and OMD. I don't know if you know of OMD. Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark.
No.
Yeah, probably if I played a couple songs, you'd be like, oh yeah, they had some mainstream songs,
Okay,
but
could be.
I refused to sing, and so, but I used to sing, and I was not good at it then, and I'm not good at it now. So I'm
I've got that over you. I'm pretty good at singing.
Yeah, well, I come from a family of great singers. My mom's a singer, my brother. But now, is your family musical, or is it just you? You come from a musical family?
Yeah, well, no, I've done a few musicals, but yeah, I didn't want to get into the 8 shows a week.
Yeah.
and destroy my voice and everything. I mean, all my friends who studied with me, who actually made it into like the proper musical, man, they've been taking medication for their voice and stuff like that, and I'm like, no, that's cool. I can live without that.
Yeah. That's hard.
It is. It's a difficult. It's a difficult life if you want to be on stage or in front of the camera.
Yeah.
So.
I used to play in a band when I was going to school, and we played all over Texas.
Ooh.
Every weekend we were somewhere. It looks like a big bottle of Pepto-Bismol, I'm just telling you. And throw that out there. And man, for the first few weekends, I was like, this is awesome. Like 4 or 5 weekends in, I was like, man, this sucks. We didn't have roadies. I was in my drum set. I've got my drum set.
Oh my God, you had to carry around your drum set?
Yeah. Playing
and
it.
Set it off.
And I have a 10, 12, 13, 16, 18 tom bass. It's a rack big set. I used to take it everywhere, and by about the 5th weekend in, it was like, look, I'm taking a bass drum and a snare. That's all you.
Yeah, that's it.
Because this is getting old. So I'm not leaving. I'm stepping out for a second.
Yep, and hi everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining. It would be lovely if you turned on your video camera, because we love seeing faces. This is not a technical talk. It is a funny, positive, feel good. My friend said she hates that word. She's like, take it away. I'm like, okay, I'm changing it then. No, but this is Maria? It's a great and funny talk. So turn on your cameras. It would be great to see your faces. We're staying on video. And if you have any questions, or if you would like to tell me which was your last concert you went to, please let me know. Gregory, hi. Which was your last concert?
Well, it's been a while. I don't even remember. Maybe 10 years ago.
Oh my God, really?
Traveling too much. No time.
So which music do you listen to?
Pretty much everything that is not on a commercial radio.
Okay, fair enough.
Nice. So you like underground?
Yeah.
Yeah.
War music, underground, and especially underground rock, pop.
Yeah. I was a top 40s mainstream guy all the way. Not anymore. Now what I listen to, I find myself eclectically. I have, stuff from, back in the 40s and the 30s. My playlist, some old jazz, some old crooners, and then some opera. Some, it's quite an eclectic mix.
I love opera, not to listen that much at home, but more actually going out to see the show. I love that.
The only opera I ever went to, I just couldn't do it. It was about halfway through, and I lost some of the, so.
I love opera. I prefer a good metal concert. I mean.
Of course.
So Eric, which one was your last? What was your last concert?
So the last concert I went to would have been the Def Leppard Journey concert.
Oh yeah, okay. When was that?
Year, yeah. That was the end of last year. It was like October of last year. It was in a baseball stadium. It was cool. Nice. So right down next to where this picture is behind me down in Denver. So yeah.
Cool. My last concert was Dream Theater in Budapest.
Dream Theater. Oh my gosh, that sounds so much
And you know what? They played Scenes from a Memory. The whole album. It was like their 20 years of the album, and it's my favorite album. So my friends and I were like, okay, no, we're doing this, and
it was
awesome.
See, I say I saw, Journey in Denver. That sounds boring. Dream Theater in Budapest. That sounds really cool.
That was amazing. That was really, really amazing.
Oh, I bet.
That was fun. So basically, I'm promoting all of you to panelists, so you can turn on your cameras like Gregory, and let us see your faces. We love seeing faces. We love talking to you. This is not a technical
There
talk,
we
so
go.
you know.
Hi, Monica. There's some others. Getting names here. Oh, there's only Malone. Welcome.
Yeah, we've got people coming in now, and I'm as I said, I'm promoting everyone to panelists.
Oh, that's a cool backdrop, Peter. I'm probably saying your name wrong, so I will slaughter everybody's name equally. So just throwing that out there. I am true blue American, and I can't speak any other name. I try, but I slaughter all names.
So we're talking about music. My question was, what was your last concert? Monica, last concert. You don't remember.
No,
Not
oh,
long,
I
huh?
have to think. I'll get back to you.
Peter?
Peter in Dutch, but
Peter. Oh yeah, okay.
I said it right.
Peter in English is fine as well. Yeah. I think it's for me. It must have been either Dotan or Justin Timberlake. I'm not sure.
There you go.
Okay.
I foresee a Taylor Swift concert in my future. I have.
Oh, you've got daughters.
Yeah.
I'm so
Well,
sorry
my
for you.
boys would go see Taylor Swift too.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can't even say that I know one song. I know of her, but
I know her older stuff. So
okay, I have no idea. Okay, we've got more people with cameras. Yay! I'm going to call you out. Mario, welcome back. What was your last concert?
Hi, my last concert. Oh, it's a while. I do not remember, to be honest. Maybe in the cave last year in Berlin. But
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got two Marios. Mario Harms, you as well. Which was your last concert? Gotta unmute yourself. Hang on, I'll unmute you. There we go.
Do you mean mute?
I unmuted you. Last concert.
It's about the concert, right?
Yeah, the last one you've been to. Which one was it?
It was at the Vondel Park last year.
Which band?
Vondel Park. In the center of Amsterdam.
Okay, oh, cool. Great, okay.
Well,
yeah.
it was not a concert really. It was not a concert really, but there were some musicians.
Okay.
Playing.
Well, that's a concert.
Right.
Musicians playing to me is a concert.
I don't know. I've heard something I wouldn't consider a concert either. So I've played some I wouldn't consider a concert. So. All right.
Maru, last concert.
I'm the wrong person to ask. I hate concerts and I don't like festivals.
What?
I don't like it. I go to Lindy Hop parties and we have big bands, live bands playing, but concerts or festivals, absolutely not my thing. I think
Okay, but you've got a guitar in the background.
Yeah, I love music. I love playing music. I love music, but I hate concerts. Not a thing.
Okay.
So if you have a concert, we're not coming because I don't want you to hate us.
I don't hate the musicians or the people. I respect them.
All right. Okay. There you go.
It's just the sweating and the beer and the alcohol and the people.
It's the crowds. Got it. Yep. That my wife would say the same thing. Same thing.
I don't drink when I go to concerts. I'm just running around and jumping around and singing out loud, annoying my friends because they're filming and they've got me.
There you go.
Yeah, like I said, it's not the people nor the musicians. It's the concert. You know, I don't know. Yeah, it's. Yeah. Okay. I know I'm not in the majority, so.
Yeah. No, Anna, your last concert.
Phew. It's a long time ago, it feels. I guess it was Stephen Malkmus here in Berlin.
Okay.
I don't know if any one of you knows him, but he's one of my heroes.
No.
Nope.
Does anyone know him?
No.
It's the singer from Pavement from the 90s, grunge band.
Pavement. I remember Pavement.
Oh well.
Yeah. Yeah. Unpopular opinion, I don't like Nirvana that much.
What? How? I don't understand. You like concerts? You have a guitar? What? This is not possible. Come on.
Yeah, that
Yeah, I
that's a
like
tough
good
one.
voices and I like good singers. He ain't one of those.
He's what I call unique.
Okay, so it's 5 past. Shall we start? So to everyone else who's not on camera, please be on camera. We love seeing your faces.
I'll be asking you to raise your hand on a couple things. So if more I can see, the better.
Yeah, exactly. So then let me quickly introduce Eric Johnson to you. So Eric Johnson is a highly entertaining,
Yeah, I wasn't sure where you were going.
very funny, serverless fanatic. So the first time I met Eric, I had just come back from the library in Amsterdam because Bruce Dickinson was speaking, and he wrote a book called "What Does This Button Do?" Right? And I'm like, I bought the book, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to meet Bruce Dickinson, going crazy. And then I saw in the go-to schedule, I'm like, okay, there's this other guy. He's got a talk called "What Does This Button Do?" And I'm like, what? And I was like, this really? Does Bruce know about this? Well, I get into the elevator, and who's standing there? The guy who talked about "What Does This Button Do?"
That's right.
Eric Johnson. Yeah, we had a couple of highs and chats in between, and I'm very happy to have met you. So if you don't know his talk, "What Does This Button Do?" you can see it on our YouTube channel. And yeah, and it's been amazing knowing you. So thank you for being here, Eric.
Thank you.
And
Yeah, you bet.
I'll let you start.
All righty. Well, today we're going to be talking about not technology. Now, just a little bit of my background, as Natalie just said, and I say your name right, Natalie, right? That's
Natalie.
Yeah, so Natalie is right. Okay.
Yeah.
So we met in Amsterdam. That was my first time to Amsterdam. I was pretty excited about Bruce Dickinson as well. That was kind of cool. If you don't know who he is, he's lead singer of Iron Maiden, also a pilot. But more importantly, my 18-year-old son thought I was the coolest person in the world because I was speaking at the same conference as Bruce Dickinson. So that was a big boom for me. So my name is Eric Johnson. I am a senior developer advocate for serverless at AWS. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. Today is going to be very non-technical. So, and I apologize up front because you may go, wow, okay, whatever. But so we're going to get started. Just so you know, I am at home like everybody else. I have 5 kids. Just so you may see some craziness come down. I don't know. We'll see. But my youngest 2 daughters are here right now, and so we'll see. You may hear that in the background. So let me ask you this, and I'm going to ask you to raise your hand. I know a lot of your cameras are off, but how many of you remember your first date? Okay, all right. There's some hands. Phew, boy, that made me worry. Okay, for those of you who didn't raise your hand, let me turn around and make it a little easier. How many of you all are waiting for your first date? Anybody? Okay, a couple of you there. Nobody raised their hand, but you can see them going, maybe. I'm going to tell you about my first date. Kind of set the scene. Now, before I start, there are a couple of rules to when I'm talking. Okay. And maybe rules aren't the best thing. Hey, I got a nice background. Thank you very much. That's Union Station in Denver, Colorado, which is where I'm coming to you from. I'm actually north of Denver. Hopefully some of you have all been to Denver. So I'm going to tell you about my first date, but let's cover the rules real quick. So first of all, when I'm talking, you need to understand that this is any number I want it to be. Okay. Now I will hold this up and I will say 7 or 15 and it confuses people. And I have to tell you up front, because there's a lot of times, and usually, I'm in a live room and someone will come in late and I'll say, hey, and there were 14 of us. And they'll be like, that's not 14, that's a 1. I know that that's just a 1. I was born this way. So I will make a lot of one-finger jokes. I hope that doesn't make you uncomfortable. I wasn't born this way this morning, or this morning, so I'm comfortable with it. I make jokes. If it does make you uncomfortable, I'm okay with that too. So we're good. Either way, we're gonna be fine. So the second rule is these are quotes, not apostrophes. I know that. So I was working, I'll say something like that. And the third rule are these are thumbs. So I'll do that a lot. So all right. So I'm gonna tell you about my first date. I want to see if you can relate. Okay. So this is back in high school. And of course, I was in love with her. And I don't have my chat on. So if I'm not ignoring chat. So if I don't answer right away, or I think Natalie's kind of moderating here. So in my first date, I was in high school. Now, Natalie, tell me this. High school, is it the same in Germany? I'm assuming most people are from Berlin as here. Is it, 13 to 18,
here.
4 years? What's that?
We're from everywhere here.
Okay, all right. Oh, from everywhere.
Yep. Yeah,
okay,
everywhere.
nice. All right. So I was in high school. This is in America. This is actually in Phoenix, Arizona. And I was in love with this girl because, I was 14 and knew what love was. I was actually probably 17. I was trying to brag that I had my first date at 14, but that didn't happen. So I had my first date. I was probably 16 or 17. And I fell in love with this girl. Her name is not important here because I don't want her to hear that I'm telling the story. But I finally worked up the guts to ask her out. So I called her, and her mom answered, and I hung up because you know how hard that is. Okay. If you've ever asked someone out, it's hard. So I picked it up, called her back, and her mom answered again. And I hung up. We did this. I'm not kidding. We did this for about 2 weeks. Okay. So finally, her mom literally said, don't hang up. Whoever this is, don't hang up. So, okay. So I said, can I talk to Angie? There it is. I blew it. So don't tell her I'm telling you the story. So can I talk to this person? And so I asked her out. Okay. Now, again, first date, I don't know what to do. Luckily, her mom and dad, for their first date. Now, as a parent, I love this, but as a teenager, I did not like this. They wanted to meet me, so they had me come over to the house. Okay, now, like I said, I'm a father of 5, and so I plan to have lots of fun like that when my kids start dating. But as a high school young guy, I was terrified to go to the house. So worked up the guts, drove over, parked in front of the house, went in, and we're sitting around the table. Here's the plan for the night. Okay, we're gonna have dinner. We're going to go, and her parents were still going to college. So we were going to go to the community college, which is in Phoenix. And then we were going to come home. That was going to be the date, which was good because I didn't have any money. So that worked out great. I'm a son of a teacher and a music minister. So we had no money growing up. Neither of those things do you do for money. So, so we went out, and I went over to her parents' house. We sat around, we were having dinner, and I remember it like it was last night. I mean, it was just it was very vivid in my mind. We're sitting around the table, and it's me and her mom's across from me. I'm sorry, her mom's next to me, and her dad's across from me, and there's a brother over here, and we're having beans and franks. So we're having beans and hot dogs, right? And a real classy meal. It's a big kind of classy meal in America is beans and franks. So we're having this meal, and I had finished my lemonade, and I said, hey, can I have some more lemonade? And so they hand me the lemonade, and it was really funny. It gets bigger every time I tell the story, but do they have Tupperware there in Berlin? Is the Tupperware a brand name? Okay, you know that. So this was a Tupperware, and it was, I'm going to scoot back so you can see, it was like yay big. I mean, it was the biggest Tupperware thing they have, and it's full to the brim of lemonade. Okay, so I start to pour. The funny thing in my head, I'm like, you want me to pour it? Have you seen me? I'm not the best with things like this. So I'm like, okay, they hand it to me. So I go to pour it, and I turn it, and it's like slow motion. You can see the lemonade goes to the back, and it goes to the front. And the lid didn't even try. The lid popped off, and lemonade goes everywhere on the table, right? It's just soaked, okay? It's in hers, the mom, the dad's. And here's where, if you're different, this is kind of happening. Now, the dad looked at me like, I could kill you just as easy as shake your hand. You're not good enough for my daughter, which he was right. As a dad, I get that. But here's the look the mom gave me. And if you're different in any way, you've probably seen this, okay? But it was the look that said, and she didn't say the words, but I could hear it in my head. It's like, that is so sad. That's the saddest thing I've ever seen. It's because you get that, oh, he's never going to do anything in life kind of look. And I was like, oh, man, it couldn't be worse. So I figure, okay, I've done my dumb thing. We're going to have a date. It's going to be great. Well, it doesn't work like that for me. So we all pile into the car, and we go to this college where her parents are going to class. So her parents are going to go to class. We're going to hang out in the library. And when she gets out, we're doing the library, when her dad gets out of the library, he says, look, I'll take you guys to Mary Coyle's ice cream. Now, I don't know if anybody's heard of Mary Coyle's ice cream outside of the States or even outside of Arizona, but it's very good ice cream. It's a little shop you can go across. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to walk to the ice cream place. So we walk to the edge. Now, something you need to know about me is my feet are like my hands, okay? In that there's only one toe on each foot. I don't tell that to brag because it's pretty cool and I'm sure you're jealous, but I tell you that because it's important for you to understand the story. That if I run and if I don't slow down before I stop walking, I will go face down. Okay. So if I run, I have to slow down and stop. Okay. If I try to stop immediately, my balance is bad and I will I'll just go down. So back to the story. So we're getting ready. Excuse me one moment. We're getting ready to go across the street now. Here we are. We're young love. She's in love with me. I'm in love with her. We're probably going to get married because that's how it happens in high school. So she's got her arm in mine, right? And I've got my swagger, which hasn't improved in the 50 years I've been alive, but I'm swaggering along. She's got her arm in mine. Her dad's walking behind us. And we've got to run to the median, okay? So there's a median in the middle of the road that we have to run to. She's got her arm in mine. Did I explain that? She's got her arm in mine because I was really cool. And we run together. And there were cars, of course, there were cars going, I think the direction this way, or none this way. So we could only run to the median. We had to stop or we'd get hit by a car. Well, we run top speed and we had no room to slow down. So we just stop. And here's where I learned about the scientific principle of transfer of energy. Okay. Because I threw her in front of an oncoming car. And down she goes. All right. In the street. She's laid out completely. Cars are locked her up. And I'm not kidding you, the dad's behind me. Whoa! And I'll save you some of the language that he used at me, right? So here we go. I'm standing, and the kind of funny thing is, literally in my head, I'm thinking, hey, I'm standing. Did y'all see that? So I help her up. We didn't get the ice cream. Okay, so we get up. His dad says, come on, we're going back. I really thought he was just going to knock me out right there. She's literally blowing on her arm. She's raspberried all up and down the arm. It was really bad. So I walk her back and the mom comes out. She's like, what happened? And dad explains it. And the mom gives me the look. It's the saddest thing I've ever seen. Saddest thing I've ever seen. Okay. So we get in the car. I sit behind the dad because he can't reach me. You know what I'm talking about. If you've ever been a child, which I know you all have, you sit behind dad because he couldn't reach me. So dad's driving, grumbling to himself. And mom is, it's the saddest thing I've ever seen. Angie is over here, but that's not her name. That's a fake name. Is over here blowing on her arm, because she's hurting. And I'm sitting in the back quietly thinking, man, if I could just get home. So we get back to the house. I wasn't invited in the house. I don't know what's up. So, and literally the entire family, mom, dad, brother, sister, standing in the front yard, waving at me. Okay. And so now pause the story for a minute. The car I'm driving at the time is my dad's midlife crisis car. Okay. It's a truck he bought himself. It's a 1976 Ford F-250. Now I've been telling the story for almost 30 years now. And until last year, I've been saying an F-150 until my brother said it wasn't an F-150. It was a 250. I know that makes no difference here, but I do want you to know that I am teachable even at my age. So it was an F-250. It had a 390 in it. Now, I don't know what all that means. I just know it's really fast, okay? You could punch that thing, which is put the gas down really hard, and that truck would, it would almost pull off the ground. It was so fast. Back to the story. Oh, also, the color, it was Mountain Dew green, okay? Like I said, my dad had a midlife crisis, but he didn't have a lot of money. So that's his midlife crisis truck. So you can imagine why this was my first date, and I was already 17. So there you go. So anyway, this truck is sitting in front of the house. I get in front of the house. Now they lived right on a major street. Okay. And so they had this little service road that I was parked on. And so I had to do a U-turn and kind of go out onto the major street. Okay. So here's what I did. And I'm going to get back so you can kind of see this because this is a visual. Here's what I did. Can y'all still hear me okay? Is that working all right? Okay. So one of the cool things about having one finger is I can just drive by having my finger in the steering wheel. It's really cool. I mean, doesn't this look cool? Here, let me do it. Right. So yeah. Sorry, ladies, I'm taking. So here we go. So anyway, I'm driving on. So what I do is I start the wheel all the way this way. I get to where I'm going to make the turn, and I realize I haven't turned my lights on. Okay, mom and dad, brother, sister, still out there. Dad's making sure I'm leaving. I think the rest of them are making sure he didn't throw things at me. Okay, so I start into it, realize my lights are on. Now, on a Ford 1976 Ford F-250, the light switch is over here on the left side. Okay, and it's a big old fat knob. Okay, well, that's a big old fat finger. Okay, so here's what I did. I have the wheel cranked all the way this way, so it's about like this. I reach for the lights, okay? And I don't know how well you can see this. So I reach for lights, and my finger gets stuck under that light bulb or that light switch, okay? So out of fear, the only thing I need to do, which makes total sense to anybody, is I punched it, okay? And that truck came alive, and it came out of the street, over the median, back over the curb, through their yard, and back on the street before I got literally Dad's backing everybody up. Okay, and I peeled out through the yard, and then I just took off, and I drove the whole way home like this. So it was quite a night. So this is a rough night. Now I got home. Okay, I got home. My mom was in bed, and my dad was still awake, which I wish it had been reversed because I feel like my mom would have been more sensitive to my needs. But here's what I did. I sat down with my dad, and I told him the story, and I'm almost in tears because it was horrible. It's my first date. Never going to see her again. I made a fool. By the way, I drove your truck through a lawn. You might hear about that kind of thing. So, and my dad, in his sensitive way, was also crying with me, but he was crying because he was laughing. So he was laughing at me. Sorry. Now, part of the reason is my dad was a high school teacher where I went to school. Okay. So he knew her. In fact, she was on his basketball team. And so anyway, so this is the night. This is a pivotal night to me where I go back and I really realized that night that I'm different. Now, that wasn't the night that I went, oh, I have one finger. Okay, I knew I had one finger, but because that would be weird, wouldn't it? Boy, he's really dense. He doesn't know. But that was the night when I realized that life is different. Okay. And I'm going to need to cope with it, and I'm going to need to deal with it, okay? So this is the first point I would have you go away with, okay? I have 4 different points tonight. Remember, this is any number. I can get to 4, but I have to take my shoes off, and that's weird for everybody. So we'll just go this way. So point number 1 is everybody's different, and how, everybody's different. Some of those things are very visible. Now, I will tell you, my wife's upstairs. I won't call her down now, but she would come down and go, like this when I say, this is not my worst problem. So my wife has a laundry list she keeps in her purse of all my problems, and this is far down the list. Okay, so these are things that we all deal with issues in our life. Okay, and the second thing, okay, 2 points right together. The second thing is how you deal with it is how other people are going to deal with it. Okay, how you approach your differences and how you deal with challenges in life is how others are going to deal with it as well. And so if I say that kind of simply, as if I think I'm handicapped, you think I'm handicapped. There's nothing wrong with being handicapped. And in the eyes of a lot of people, I probably am. And in some ways, for instance, I can't hitchhike, right? Okay, I would love to, but I can't hitchhike. You know why? Because this will get you beat up. Okay, that's you stand on the side of the road and do this you get run over. That's living proof. I know it. Okay, this people just ignore, right? Or they wave back. I have learned I have to be very careful when I wave. It's all about the smile. If I'm doing this, people can't tell if my hand is this way or this way. So I've had people, flip me off back. So you just really got to smile, So anyway, I also cannot play flute, but I'm okay with that. I don't need to. So there are some things, and I can't do pull-ups, but that's not because I have one finger, it's because I'm fat. There it is. So, but that's just the reality of life is we are challenged, and how you deal with that challenge is the model by which other people are going to deal with it. Let me kind of talk through that a little bit. As I said before, I have 5 kids. Okay, I have 3 boys, I have 2 girls. Yep, it's crazy around the house. My oldest boy is 19. My youngest girl is 7. She's probably listening to me right now, giggling. And their names are Noah, Jake, Owen, Sophie Ann, and Gracie May. You got to be impressed with that. I can't do their phone numbers, or I'm sorry, their birthdays or their social security numbers, but I can do those. My wife does all the other hard parts. So, and my wife is obviously the hero because she is a stay-at-home mom. And even before the quarantine, she was a homeschool teacher. So we have a crazy house here. But in watching my kids grow up, one of the things I've learned, and this can apply to how our families work, this can apply to how our businesses work, this can apply to a lot of different things, but as much as I would like to tell them, to teach them, hey, it is what it is, you move on, life's great, you have to accept this on your own. You have to make the choice to address a challenge. Now, that doesn't mean you got to be happy about all the time. And but you have to. Now, I can model that lifestyle. I can model a life that says, you know what, I'm all right. And I'm a productive member of society and I can do these things. Are they different? Yeah. But they have to decide for themselves, much like I did. And I can talk about, growing up, and I will a little bit, but on making that decision to go forward and address and attack challenges versus just say, you know what, I'm done. I can't deal with it. And this is kind of apropos, and I've never used a big word like apropos. I'm pretty proud. This is kind of apropos in the situation that we're living in. This is kind of a tough thing we're going through, right? And one of the sayings we have in our house is it is what it is. It is what it is. It isn't what we wish it was. It isn't what it was. It is what it is. And so you have to deal with what is and not what you wish. Now, like I said, from growing up, I've taught my kids, hey, this is the life. Now, not all, just so you understand, so this makes a little more sense. 4 of my 5 kids, I have no idea why I do this for 4 and this for 5, but I do. 4 of my 5 kids are like me. Okay, so my 3 boys and my youngest daughter are bald and beautiful. And also have one finger on each hand and 1 toe on each foot. And I remember it was kind of interesting when my oldest son was born and when we found out we were pregnant with him. I remember going into a doctor and my wife at the time had said, I want to know what's coming. And our family has always been like, why? Okay, again, you need a little more history for this to make sense. My mom is the same way. I don't know why I'm pointing up there. She's not here. My mom is the same way. My brother is the same way. One of his 2 kids are this way. We're taking over. Any more of us that we get gloves that fit and we don't have to wear socks in the snow. But there are a lot of us, So when we decided, when she said, I want to know genetically what's coming, I was like, all right, okay. So we went to the doctor and they did the tests. And here's what we learned. We learned that if you've got it, you can pass it on 50% of the time. So it's 50-50 if you have it. Now here's, I have to practice this word, and I did before I came in here. The word is autosomal dominant, meaning if you've got it, you can pass it. If you don't have it, you can't pass it. So what he said is, if you've got it, there's a chance, 50% chance that you're going to pass it on to your children. But it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to have 1 finger like you. It can be 1 finger, it can be 5 fingers, or something in between. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, and I get the hypocrisy of this, so leave me alone. But I literally went, ew, gross. I know, I get that's weird, but I was freaked out. I'm like, I can deal with 5 finger because apparently that's what everybody in the world has. And I can deal with 1 finger because that's perfect, right? But anything in between is like, I don't know what to do with that. Okay, so I remember being, oh man. And I remember when Noah was born, and it was really kind of funny because he was born through C-section. Okay, they went and Clue is dead. I'm like, okay, I just wherever they led me. And so she's on the table and they pull him out and he's gray and shriveled and his hands are all like this. And I thought, oh my gosh, they're not going to work. Now, for those of you who aren't parents, what you find out is all kids are that way. A lot of them come out kind of funny, kind of like, oh, hey, because they've been, curled up in a ball. But I was terrified that he wasn't going to be able to do anything with his hands. Because as much as I can do for him and show him, he has to decide that he can also do, right? He has to make the choice. And so very young, we started pushing on him to start making this choice. And I remember we were driving along and he was here in Colorado, and we were driving along, and he said, Dad, he was in the back of the car. His younger brother was in the car seat. He's about 5. His youngest brother's about 3, and they were the only 2 he had at the time. He said, Dad, can I ask you a question? I said, sure. His mom wasn't with us at the time. I said, sure, buddy, what's up? Where are my fingers? Now, let me take a step back for a minute. One of the jokes I do all kinds of jokes. If we were to meet on the street and you'd say, hey, where are your hands? There's any myriad of answers I can give you. 99.9 of them will be a lie. Okay. There's been a shop accident. There was a horrible helicopter accident. There was, and it's always fun to say the shop accident. Like, yeah, I cut him off with a saw. And then I did the other hand. Oh my gosh, that's horrible. Yeah, I'm just never learning. Then I did my feet. It was way crazy. And there are people like, oh, okay, But one of the common answers, and this is the one I give a lot of times when I'm not really, I don't have time or I'm not in the mood, because this is true. Sometimes you don't want to talk about it. Sometimes you don't want to be the inspiration, And so here's what I often say is, oh, they're at home in a box in the freezer. Because here's the deal. You say that, hey, where are your hands? They're at home in a box in the freezer. Nobody goes, no, they're not. Most of them go, oh, okay. You have a good day. And then that conversation's over, right? So it's a muscle memory, right? So back to driving with Noah. Noah and I are driving, and we're in the car, and he says, Dad, where are my fingers? And man, before I even thought, they're at home in a box, son, in the freezer. And literally was like, oh my gosh. And I just kind of froze there. And I'm thinking, of course, first thing in my mind is, she's going to kill me. Okay. I've just bought years of therapy right there. Okay. So you could see the wheels turning. Okay. And he's turning and you can see him thinking, it's like, well, could I have him back? It's nope. Your mom won't let us have him back. So I pulled over. Okay. This is the first time I've ever seen myself tell the story. That's weird. So I pulled over and we had the talk. I explained to him, this is the way you were made. This is I have a faith-based background, I'm not going to lie. And so I believe this is the way God made him. Okay. And I explained that and I said, and it's okay. And you try to tell them all the things about, hey, things are going to be fine, but it's the way you're made. Okay. So come forward several years till he's about 8. Okay. We're in a McDonald's. They're off playing on the playground. I'm eating. And I remember he's made a little friend in the playground. They're running around, having a good time. And all of a sudden I see the little friend start crying. I said, Noah, what happened? Call him over and what happened? He goes, yeah. He asked me where my fingers were. I said, what'd you say? He said, they're at home in a box with my dad's in the freezer. It's like, oh my gosh, I loved it. I was so proud of him. But then I was like, okay, I need to go repair. So I went and talked to the guy, and I didn't get I kind of got it's the saddest thing look I've ever seen. It's like, that's sad, but that's also pretty gross. And you need to talk to your child. Look, I got that one. But literally, he was like, what is wrong with you people? It was that day where I went, you know what? He's going to be okay. Now, is he going to get up every morning and call me and say, Dad, thanks so much for giving me one finger? Nope, that's not what's happened so far. In fact, I've gotten a few calls where he's called and said, I don't understand. Why am I this way? And I hate you for it. So that makes perfect sense, son, because I had so much control of it. So, But he's decided he's going to be okay. He really has. He's struggled with it, but he's going to be okay. My second son is Jake. Now, I'm not going to, what I'm about to say, you might think, that's so mean. And it is, okay? I'm not going to lie. But he would sit right next to me and go, yeah, he's right. Jake is weird, okay? There's no other way to say that. Jake is weird. Now, my son Jake is 17 years old. He's 6'2", and he's about almost 200 pounds, and it's all in his chest. He walks in the room, he looks like this. He could take me on any given day. He probably could when he was 7, but he could beat the stuffings out of me now. And which is really fun because Noah, my older son, is 6'1", and he weighs 7 pounds, soaking wet. Okay, he's literally just a beanpole. And so every once in a while, he'll try to pick a fight with Jake, and I just stand back and go, "What are you thinking?" Because Jake just cleans his clock. But and as a dad, it's kind of fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie. So anyway, Jake is a weird kid, and he looks at life differently. And I remember the day Jake has never really asked Dad, "Why am I this way?" But I know he's a thinker. Now, for all he'd love you not to think so, Jake is very, very smart. Now, he wants you to think he's dumb as a brick, but he's not. In fact, when he was a younger child, they brought us into school and they said, "Our average student's here. Top of our scale is here. Your son's up here somewhere. He's Mensa smart." You wouldn't know that because I've literally watched him walk straight into a wall. Oh, there's a wall there. He's got the common sense of the sole of my shoe. But that's Jake, but he's very, very smart. So anyway, I remember the day when I decided I think Jake's going to be okay. And this is how it happened. It was in Colorado. We're having Halloween in Colorado. Now, Halloween in Colorado means, and it may be the same way there, I don't know, means that there's a good chance you have snow jackets on under or over your costumes, okay? Or it could be a warm night. You never know. If you don't like the weather in Colorado, wait 15 minutes. It'll change. And so we're out doing Halloween, and we're going to houses, and we're knocking on doors and stuff. So it's the last door, okay? And we're all, we're exhausted, And so we get to the last door, and Jake walks up, and you go up the sidewalk, and you walk by the house. Our costumes are hanging off us. We've got our undershirts on. We're done. We've eaten. Dad's checked most of the candy for safety. And we get to the door, and you go by this, and the door is this big door with a plate glass window in it. Okay, so you can see in the house, and in the house is a vision. It's a dream. Okay, it's already, they're starting to decorate for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and everything's beautiful and clean. And Jake rings the doorbell, and these 2 little twin girls come out of the back room. "I'll get it," and they're running like little fairies and all cute, and they're princesses and everything. And the mom's gazing upon them, lovely, and all is right in the world until they get to the door. Okay, and they get to the door to where I have no idea why he did this. All of a sudden, Jake goes right into the plate glass window in front of the girls. He goes, "I got 2 fingers." Well, the dream was over because those girls lost their minds and start screaming and yelling. And Mom runs off with the kids, and the dad comes out. And there was no, "That's so sad." It was, "What is wrong with you?" And all I could do is look through the glass, because what do you say there? All I did was I said, "I too have 2 fingers. You have a good day." And off we went. So you have to decide, much like Jake does, you have to decide, how are you going to deal with the problem? How are you going to, how is this going to work out for you? And it's been fun to watch that. My next son, Owen. Owen's a little different, and then he's missing a bone from his arm, so his hand is turned. And it's kind of funny because that's his Thor hand. He calls that Thor's hammer, right? And he loves that because he can hold more M&Ms than any of us can, right? A handful of M&Ms for me is 2 on a good day because I'm balancing right. Okay, sometimes it's this, and you scoop it in, but Owen can hold 7 or 8 in there. And again, with him, we've taught. Now he's been a little different, and I won't go too far into the story, but with him, same thing. We've been teaching, and it took longer for him to tie his shoes. It took longer for him to kind of figure out how to write. And it was kind of interesting because the school came to me and they said, in fact, I got in an argument with the school. They came to me and said, "We want to get him special tools for writing. We want to let him do half, kind of do, ease up on the work and things like that." And I said, no, I don't want you to do that. That's going to teach him the wrong thing. Because here's the deal. And I'm going to repeat this again. How you deal with it is how others are going to deal with it. And one of the things to understand is sometimes the short-term picture does not look great. But when we think of the long-term picture, that's the critical part of it. Okay. And with him, the teachers were looking at a short term, what's going to help him right here. But as his dad, who loves him dearly. I need when he grows up in life to be able to say, you know what, this is hard, but not impossible. Because I can't do it yet. That's another big saying we have in our house. You may not be able to do it now. You say, I can't do it yet. Okay. I don't know if you heard talking earlier, and I don't say this as a brag, but more of an example. When I was a kid, I wanted to play drums. And everybody said, there's no way you'll play drums. All I heard was, you just don't play yet. So I decided I'm going to do it. Now, my mom was my example. Like I said, she has one finger in each hand, just like I do. My dad was my cheerleader. My dad was the only 5-fingered person in our family. It's not his fault. It's just the way it was. And we called him Captain Weak Jeans. That was always funny. He was a biology teacher, so we called him Captain Weak Jeans. Oh, you couldn't pass on thumbs? Thanks a lot, Dad. All we wanted was something opposable, but and so we would say that. But my dad would come up with all these inventions for me to drum. At one point, there was almost a body suit made out of wood that I would wear and play like this. But I figured out how to do it. And nowadays it's wristbands, rubber bands, and I play. And it depends on how I open and close my hands, right? Here's what I learned, though. Here's what it turns out. I am a phenomenal drummer for one finger. So in real life, I'm pretty average and nobody's going to pay me to do it full time. And I was going to a school of music. It's really funny. I was at a community college and man, I was the #1 drummer. I was all that in a bag of chips. I really thought, man, I own this joint. Then I went to a school of music and the worst drummer there ate my lunch. And that was a realization for me. And that's one of the things I've always said is, man, if you're the smartest person in the room or if you're the best person in the room at something, change rooms. Because I tell you, I never learned as fast as I did when I was the worst drummer. I still think that looks like a big bottle of Pepto-Bismol every time Natalie takes a drink. So there you go. So it's always like, oh, are you sick? Okay, you're gonna be all right. Okay, so back to Owen. They came to me and said, we want to give him half assignments. We want to do things. And a little bit, you'll hear why I really am against half assignments. But one of the things I said is we can't do that. We need to make sure that he can pick up a pencil and write without any special apparatus. Now, once he figures that out, then he can do anything he wants. But I don't want him to have to say, I can't write because I don't have my such and such with me. So we sat down and they said, and they wanted to have a talk with me. And they said, Mr. Johnson, there are, in this room, there's 16 people. There are 50 years combined of teaching students. We are the experts. And I remember getting to say, well, in this one person, there is 48 years of being an expert of having one finger. And I'm here to tell you that if you just challenge him, he will figure it out. And that's my point to you too. When we're challenged, it's just something to figure out. Now, like I said earlier, there are some things that I'm just not going to do. I'm never going to be a great sax player, 2 notes tops. And that's, again, great for one finger, but that's the way it is. Okay. So my third point that I would give you on this, no excuses. Right. And that's what I'm saying. We don't make excuses. And this can be in work life. It can be in personal life. One of the things we don't let our kids say is, I can't. I can't because, they can say I can't. Yeah, hey, Daddy, I can't jump over the house. Okay, that's fine. But they can't say I can't tie my shoes because I have one finger. And my youngest, we're still working on it. I can't do this because that's not valid. You can do it if you challenge yourself, if you step up. And again, the reality says there will be some times where you go, well, you know what? I wasn't able to do that. I figured something out. I will adapt. I'll figure it out. But the thing is, everything deserves a try. Nothing deserves a take one look and say, I can't do it. When I was in grade school, I was at 6th grade. My parents, after I came out of 6th grade, my parents changed schools. I was a straight A student without ever bringing any work home. I really thought I was smart. Turns out I was just going to a lousy school. So my dad, being a teacher, said, you know what, we're going to change schools. So he put me in a different school. He had some contacts. It was just another public school, but it was a better school. And it turns out I'm not a great student. Yeah, I learned that. I'm not a great student. I'm a social. I'm a talker. So that didn't help here. But anyway, I went to the school, and the very first friend I made was a guy named Mark. And Mark was a little person, or dwarf little person. He tells me I can't say dwarf, so I won't say dwarf. We became instant friends. We were best friends immediately. And he was, you can't see it, he was this tall, 36 inches. And to this day, he's still 36 inches. He's very, very, very little person. And man, we hit it off. So I remember sitting in English, and he would always finish his homework first. And it was like, how do you do that? Always. Well, finally he says, well, here's the deal. About the beginning of the semester, the teacher asked me if it hurt my hands to write, and I told her it did. So she said, you can just do half the assignments. I was like, oh, so I remember every time a teacher would come by, I'd be like, ow, oh, ow. So finally she said, Eric, let me ask you a question. Does it hurt you to write? Oh, it does, ma'am. It does hurt me to write. Would you like to do half the assignment? I would. I think that would be best. Yes. So for the rest of that semester, I did half the assignment, and it was great, and all was well in the world until my mom found out. Okay. Now my mom is about yay tall, and nobody messes with my mom. Okay. My dad's like, yes, ma'am. I mean, my mom runs the joint. Okay. And my mom found out, and I remember coming home, and here's something I learned as a parent. I don't know how she found out. Now, here's what she told me. She said, what I don't see, God tells me. So I'm not sure that's theologically correct, but that's what she would tell me. As a kid, I truly believed it, right? So I don't know how she found out, but as a parent, I learned most questions I ask my children, I already know the answer to. You know what I'm talking about? It's kind of that I'm testing you, but I already know the answer. So she asked me, she said, Eric, let me ask you something. Are you doing half the assignments in English? Yes, ma'am. You don't lie to mama. Yes, ma'am, I am. Well, why is that? Well, my hands hurt. Okay. And then she lost it right there. And she ripped me up one side down. Like I said, my mom's a sweet lady, but you didn't mess with it. She tore me apart. Now, here's the fun part. She didn't stop there. After there was just little parts of me left. That was it. You know, she put me in a box. She put me in the car. We drove to the school. She carried me in, and she talked to the teacher. And when she was done with her, she was in little parts in a box as well, because she was not happy about that. Then we drove to Mark's house, because I had told her, well, she does the same for Mark. I thought that would get me out of it. No, that just pulled Mark down with me. Because here's what happened. It was like World Wrestling Federation. His mom and my mom got in the corner room, and they would tag in and out on beating us. So they were so upset with us. Not really, but just really chewing us out. They took turns. She yelled at him. His mom yelled at me. Then they tagged each other out. And oh, we were in trouble. But here's the deal. We had to go back and do all that homework. I see Maria. How you doing, Maria? We had to go back and do all that homework again. And so the lesson learned there was, we don't make excuses. There are a lot of excuses I could make in life. There are a lot of things I could say, but we don't make excuses. We try. And this is what my kids hear all the time. Well, did you try? And my wife is in all kidding aside, she's probably the best at it. My wife has the big picture, says, yeah, I could do that for you, but did you try? Did you really work with that? And that's my encouragement, man. No excuses. I mean, like I said, we could go on for lots of them, but no excuses. The last point I want to make is this, and hopefully you've kind of figured that out just by listening to me. And you got to have fun. You have to have fun in life, and you have to have fun with the challenges that you're given. In 1984, my brother, who also is like me, so for my brother's 4 years older than me, has a full head of hair and is in great shape. So we don't talk anymore. But when in 1984, he was in high school. It was his last year, his senior year, and we would do yeah, yes, I was a band nerd. That's right. And our band was very active. We had at my high school, the football team was so bad that the band was cool. Okay. I'm just throwing that out there. All right. And so we loaded up, and every year we would do a band trip. And the band trip was from Phoenix. We would drive to California, and we would go to SeaWorld. We would play in concerts. It was a lot of fun. I mean, we all looked forward to it. So you're there all week, And the very last day, they go to SeaWorld all day. Then they stay the night and they drive home the next day. So when they go to SeaWorld, the deal is all the counselors got to relax somewhere because the kids were going to be off all day. So within the first hour, my brother and some of his friends, some of his great encouraging friends, decided to play a little prank. So they went over and they went to the killer whale petting tank. Okay, so they went in the killer whale petting tank. They got some of the squid that you feed them, and they found some ketchup. They put ketchup all over the squids. They put them all over my brother's hands, who looked like this. And then my brother came out screaming. He just threw his hands up, started screaming. They threw the squid in the pond. Well, I mean to tell you, the place went nuts. Moms and dads jerking their kids away from the tank, and they ended up closing down part of SeaWorld for the morning. And so they were able to collect up. And you heard over the announcements, with the Thunderbird High School marching band, please report to the exit gate. And the entire band was kicked out for the day and asked never to come back. Now, let me tell you right here, people, you got to have fun. And if you want to have fun, close the SeaWorld. If you could do that, maybe you don't close the SeaWorld, but have fun. I can't tell you how many stories of just, my brother and I have had a lot of fun with this. And we went into a Taco Bell one time, and we sat down and we were joking and playing and laughing and doing the things we do. And I remember this lady came over to us, and she said she was pregnant. She was obviously very pregnant. She was probably 8 months or so, which I'm not sure Taco Bell's the right thing. I don't know if you have them there, but Taco Bell at 8 months pregnant, probably not a best move. So, but anyway, that's for a doctor to decide. Anyway, she said, I've been watching you, and I want to tell you the challenge I have. She said, my son, well, I'm addicted to, I believe it's probably cocaine or something like that. She said, and during the pregnancy, I've been doing it, and it's a danger to the baby. And I was planning on not having the baby. And she said, after watching you guys, I believe that he'll be okay. And I remember thinking, oh man, that's great. That's really cool. And then my brother turned around and he got the tray of foods. But of course, we're big guys. We eat a lot of food. He got the tray of food. And when he turned, he slipped, dropped it, and smashed it all into the wall. And I remember thinking, oh man, she's not going to do it. We've just broken everything. Having fun sometimes, dealing with challenges sometimes, even in public, it has effect on people. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I would love to tell you that every day I get up and I thank the Lord for having one finger on each hand. And most times I do. It's part of my personality. It's part of who I am. But there are times when I wish that weren't the case. I remember when you've heard me talk. It is what it is. You can't yet all those kinds of things. I have my little cliches. And I remember playing Wii with my wife, and we were playing the archery game, which I'd always avoided. Now, if you know anything about the Wii and you know anything about the archery game, you hold the one joystick out here, then you've got another joystick you have to pull back here, and then you have to do something with your thumb, and then there's these, it takes, I don't even think 5-finger people can do it. I think it takes roughly 17 fingers a hand to do it. But I remember trying to do it with my ear and literally like shoulder up there, and I'm contorting myself and I'm hurting, and I've got wristbands on to hold the joysticks. Finally, I just got mad and I threw them down. And I'm not kidding you. I wish I was. I threw them down. I said, "It's a stupid game," and I walked off. And my wonderful, sweet, sensitive wife came over. She put her hand on my back, kind of rubbed it. She said, "It is what it is. You got your big boy pants on today, or are you going to cry about it?" I said, she was on, so she had no sensitivity. I remember she goes, "Oh, being grown up challenge. Are you overcoming challenges today?" Because she's heard my talk a million times. "Are you conquering the world with your Wii game?" It was frustrating. It's like, But I will tell you, there are some hard times. There are some frustrations. I remember one time my 5-year-old, she's 9-year-old now. Her name is Sophie Ann. She's awesome. She's the only 5-finger child in the family. And that in itself, all kidding aside, I know this may sound like I'm joking, that has its issues. Because there are times it's like, well, I'm not like the rest of the family. I don't there's a difference there. Of course, for us, that's not what matters, but she sees that. But she's an amazing older sister to my now 7-year-old, Gracie, where it's really funny to watch them. When Gracie needs help, she'll just kind of hand things to Sophie, and Sophie do it. They're like an old married couple in some ways. It's really awkward. And they're also, it's like I have 3 wives in the house too, because I can't, I will someday today hear, do you think you should eat that, Dad, with your diet? Okay. So, but anyway, my 7-year-old, who was 5 at the time, I remember sitting in a shoe store. Now, the first time I ever told this was in Amsterdam, and Maria, can I see it on your face? This is the one where I may cry. This is a tough one, but I remember this vividly. We're sitting in a shoe store, and one of the hardest things we do is buy shoes. As silly as that sounds, we can only wear high tops or 3/4, and they're hard to find that fit us because our feet are much wider than they are long. To be honest, the shoe boxes fit us better. So if they had durability, we would just tape the shoe boxes to our feet. We were in a shoe store, and there was a sale going on. The shoe store was actually closing, and so for Sophie, we were finding all kinds of shoes. It was like, $2 for this pair of sandals. Take them. We got 17. We couldn't find a single pair of shoes for Gracie, and I remember her crawling up on my lap. She said, "Dad," and this is kind of funny because we do hear this all the time. We hear, you're such an inspiration, and that's okay. I'm glad to be an inspiration. That's not really what it's like. Hey, I live to be an inspiration. Nope, I live to eat pizza. But we hear that a lot, and I remember her saying, "Daddy," and she's crying. She said, "Daddy, there's no shoes for me, and I'm tired of that. I'm tired of being an inspiration. I just want to be normal." And that's a reality, folks. We just want to be normal. We just want to be fit in. And what do you do with that? Do I sit there and say, it is what it is? You just can't wear those shoes yet. No, all the cliches don't work. That's the reality of life. But that's not where we stop. She knows better than to say, so therefore I'm never going to own shoes. So therefore I'm never going to do this. Instead, she knows that tomorrow's another day. Today wasn't a great day. Tomorrow's another day. We'll start again. Yeah, we'll have some of the same challenges, but we'll have slept on it. We'll have rested on it, and we'll address them. And that's my challenge to you, man. Let me just recap real quick. We're all challenged. Some are very noticeable. Some are not. How you deal with that challenge is how others will deal with that. No excuses. Man, you can't make excuses. You got to go forward. And you got to have fun. And with that, I'm going to wrap it. And I don't know, Natalie, are we doing QA? But man, I appreciate y'all being here and listening and having fun with me. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric. That was got tears in my eyes. I laughed a lot. I hope I've been looking at people here as well. And yeah. Does anyone have any questions?
There's no question I won't answer. Nothing offends me. So,
and you may unmute yourself to ask the question, or you can pop it in the chat and I'll read it out for you, however you wish. No, everyone's just clapping and saying it was wonderful, and you're such an inspiration, Eric.
That's what I live for. That and pepperoni pizza.
No, it was really great. Thank you very much. I think so I needed to hear that during these weird times, because I'm fine and I'm happy. I love what I do, but still there are days when I'm like, I'd like to hug someone or whatever,
yeah.
But it's just not now. And it was nice to be reminded that maybe it's not today, tomorrow's another day, and
Yeah.
So I have one question.
Sure.
Because at first, thank you for your story, Eric. It was very great. So I enjoyed your telling and all the aspects. But I saw this meeting on Meetup, and I love this conversation. I love this meeting, but I don't know why this happened. So I'm here, I'm watching, and it was great. But what is the context?
Fair enough. Yeah, Natalie, I'll let you jump, or I can go for it.
Yeah. So basically, I've been doing a few go-to nights since end of March, and we have lots of technical talks. We've got live coding stuff, and I thought, for now, we can have something a bit lighter, something that will make us feel better, especially now in this in these weird times of Corona, where we're stuck in our houses. And yeah, and I love Eric. Eric has spoken at our conferences a few times, and basically every time he did this talk, people came out smiling and a little bit happier than when they went into. So I hope that this would just, give a few of you just a better feeling. That's all. But there will be technical talks again, I promise.
Yeah, 90% of what I do is technical, and this is just I'm not representing AWS on this. This is just me talking. This is something I've done forever, and I enjoy. I think it's a story, even technical, even sitting in rooms. It's or sitting in our houses is something people should hear. And I get it. It's like, well, what's the context? No, it's not technical for a technical one, but sometimes people just being people,
Yeah.
Hey, I have a question. I don't know if you can hear me. I have a lot of background noise, so hopefully
I can. I hear you fine.
Yeah, good. Yeah, thanks for your talk. I agree. I think it was great to hear something like this. Also, during these times, it's nice to lighten it up a little bit. But actually, I was just wondering, though, you're in Denver now,
yeah,
and you are from. You grew up also in Colorado.
Yeah, I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, and I lived in Texas for 7 years. I get to say y'all. That's enough to get to say y'all.
Okay, but it sounded like you then. So I was wondering, though. You said I think it was the high school, though. You were a Thunderbird. Was that in Colorado or was that someplace else?
That was in Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, are you from the area?
No, actually I'm from Colorado, from Denver, actually.
Okay.
So,
all right.
And then when you said north of Denver, then I started thinking of all the places north and anything, but yeah. Anyway.
So if you know where Loveland is, that's where I'm sitting right now. So Loveland and Fort Collins.
Loveland.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been back. I'm sitting in Denmark now, so I haven't. Been
I love Denmark. Yeah. Denmark's awesome. Yeah.
But anyways, it was. I was just curious when you said Thunderbirds there. So
thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. Yeah. What other questions? With that, I'll just say hang in there. There is tomorrow, guys. This is a rough time. There's no two ways about it. But there is an end to it, and I really think we'll come out on the other side. So, blessings to you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. Hope to see you soon. I love seeing old faces and old names that I've known already. This is great. And I hope to see you all very soon. There's another Go Tonight tomorrow, and check it out. And next week, and they'll keep going. And maybe I'll get Eric back to do another technical talk. Till? Would that be
always glad to talk tech?
Yeah, I checked Goto now and saw it's completely different what I thought, but yeah, maybe I'm at the moment in Copenhagen, so I saw here's Goto too. So yeah.
We're all one family. So go to Copenhagen, go to Berlin, Amsterdam, and Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not paid to say this. I don't work for them or anything like that. One of the best conferences out there for developers. Well, one of the best conferences, period. But for developers, really impressed with it in the fact that there's a lot to learn, and the focus is not. We're going to market company to you. The focus is we're going to help you learn development. When I come in, I talk about serverless. And so I talk, anything serverless. And so that's from development standpoint, glad to come back and do something in serverless. I like talking about serverless. So I still tell jokes though, just so you know.
All right. I will get back to you about that.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Thank you so much, Eric. It was wonderful seeing you again. It's been a while.
You bet. Bye all. Thank you. Peter. I worked on it. Peter.
Yes.
Get it?
Yes. Almost.
All right.
Close enough.
Yeah, almost is a no, just so you know that.
Fine with everything, basically.
All righty. Bye,
Wonderful.
guys.
Thank you. Have a lovely day and afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank
See
you.
Eric.
Thanks, Eric.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.